Have you ever wondered where your 3D printer filament actually comes from? Or how it's actually made? Well, recently on my second trip to China, I got a pretty incredible opportunity. The opportunity to tour the world's largest filament manufacturing plant. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how 3D printer filament and other products are actually made. Oh, and stick around to the end because after the tour, I am going to tell you just how much filament this company actually makes in a month, and I promise it is way more than you could possibly imagine. Let's get after it. Welcome to Sunlu Technology Park in beautiful Zhongshan, China. We are here to tour Sunlu's primary largest facility and factory, although this is only one of 3 factories they have throughout the world. The first indication we got that Sunlu is a perhaps much bigger company than you think was when we rocked up to the parking lot and realized that all these cars that wrap all the way around the building are actually just a small fraction of the employee cars. There is an entire underground parking garage serving this park, and it is a full park, Sunlu Technology Park, just for Sunlu's manufacturing. You can actually smell PLA in the air, similar to the way that you can smell chocolate in all of Hershey, Pennsylvania. So we're joined on this tour by our tour guide, Travis from Sunlu, and a special guest. We have Edward from Magigu, Thought 3D, and Drywise. Let's go inside. Let's go. All right, wow, we are starting off our tour just in Sunlu's showroom, and as you can see, it is bigger than most companies' entire headquarters. Pretty wild. They've got just a bunch of different displays of high-tech materials and all sorts of really cool 3D printed samples. This is a very impressive exhibition room. Look at the size of this place. Wow, we're in for an amazing tour today. We are now on the factory floor on one of 6 floors that have over 25 extrusion lines. As you can hear, it is extremely loud in here. Hopefully we're able to noise cancel. And I want to point out to you guys, there are very few humans in this room where the actual plastic is being melted. They are on the other side of the room behind plastic shields. And these machines are set up to run independently for as long as possible. Just get a look at the size of the resin vat and how they are using it to pump in to keep these machines running constantly. Then filament is packed on the other side of the room where it is air conditioned and the air is purified. Absolutely mind-blowing. They're currently extruding a lot of ASA, and I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time on the line itself, but I do want to show you guys the components of each extruder. So obviously we have our hopper with all our resin. You can tell it's very hot by this hopper. It then goes into the sprue here, which is going to push and extrude the plastic. There is a vent here to remove any fumes from it. Then immediately, once it is pushed out of the extrusion hole right here, it is going to go into a series of baths. Hotter water, followed by slightly cooler water. Now this water is constantly being circulated here in these tanks below, and it is going to go into progressively cooler tanks. So this one we're already down to 40 degrees Celsius, down further and further until we are brought to the buffer. Now the buffer is what allows the employees to change the spools without stopping the line. It can expand and contract every time they remove one of the spools. Here, there's just some quality control monitoring. You can see 2 different places monitoring the diameter of the filament. It then rolls in through here. You can see now the buffer is expanding because the employee has stopped the line and she is packing a spool over there. We actually cannot show you the spool that she is packing, but you can see this buffer is now expanding. She has now put a new spool of filament on. All of this is rolling through to the other side to a gated off part, and they are now behind plastic in the nice, warm, air-conditioned room where I want to be in just a second. once she starts the line, it starts spinning up incredibly quickly. And now we can see the buffer begins to compress, taking in all that slack and putting it onto the roll. Okay, hang on a second and let me cool down in this pleasant air-conditioned studio before we head back to the factory and see how that filament actually gets spooled and packaged. But actually, while we're on the topic of packaging and shipping, I should probably let you know about how you can actually buy some of this filament for the lowest prices of the year. Now, by the time you see this, Sunlu will be running their annual Black Friday deal and offering incredible prices on a wide variety of filaments and dryers. We're talking a spool of filament for as low as $9.99 and flash sales of 15 to 20% off their entire line of electronics. And as you'll see in just a little bit in the video, they have absolutely no shortage of stock. So you can just about pick up as much filament as you have room to store. So visit the link in the description or scan the QR code appearing on screen now for the most up-to-date discount info. Visiting that link does support the channel, but it also tells brands like Sunlu that you want to see more content like this in the future. So thanks to Sunlu for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back into the factory to see how the filament that you're probably ordering right now actually gets packaged. Let's go. So in case you've ever wondered how those TDS sheets get made, they get made in this room. Someone actually goes through and tests on every possible machine all the various different strength criteria, whether it is tensile strengthening, deflection testing, pulling on the materials, and over here we're watching right now as they break one of these samples. I'm not wearing glasses, so I'm not gonna get too close while it breaks. But yeah, these machines are made and placed in here for TDS testing of all of the samples. And in the next room over, they have the print farm, which is also testing various capabilities of the filament, but also printing the samples that then need to be tested. And you can see they're testing on a wide range of different printers from Bamboo Lab and Creality. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 8th floor Sunlu's Electronics, 3D printers, and heater dryer manufacturing facility. As you can see, there's a lot of action going on here and a lot of product coming out of here. There are currently 4 manufacturing lines on this plant, or on this floor of the plant, each one of them putting out 400 of their respective products per day. The first manufacturing line we have here is for the Kidoodle Kids 3D printer, tailored towards education. You can see here tons of hardworking people assembling and then passing over the Kidoodle 3D printer. At this point in the assembly line, it is being assembled, packaged with all the accessories until we get to the end of the line where they are testing. And every single Kidoodle printer is tested prior to being shipped out. It is doing a test print here. So you can see assembly happening there, test prints for every one of the printers here. Moving on from the Kidoodle printer, we now move over to one of Sunlu's newest and most exciting products, and that is the AMS heater for the Bamboo Lab AMS, or AMS filament dryer. You can see here there is a full assembly line set up to produce 400 of these every single day. And you can see this line is on an automated conveyor belt, which is passing the products down. So each worker is going to be doing a number of steps and then passing the product down to the next worker, similar to some of the other factory tours that I've done, which if you haven't seen, make sure you are subscribed because we have some other incredible factory tours coming. Already at this point in the steps, we are starting to see a product that looks almost like a finished product. And you can see here, it's getting more and more further assembled until we get down to electronics testing. Each one of these is going to be wired up and tested to make sure that all the electronics and components function as they should until we get to the end, packaging. The next product we're gonna see on the line is Sunlu's original filament dryer. This is the S1 Mate filament drying solution. All right, well, as you can see, everyone has gone to lunch, so the place has completely turned into a ghost town almost immediately. But I do want to show you guys here, they are making the E2 filament dryer. So that is its own separate line. And you can see they've done a run of the S4. Over there, there is some pretty cool robotic packaging. That's pretty crazy, which packages all of these guys up. But that's the line. Not a whole lot to see when everyone is off at lunch. So behind me and to my right, we have the apartment block, which is where Sunlu employees can choose to live if they want to minimize their commute. And you can see here, quite a few employees do choose to actually live here in Sunlu Technology Park. We are in the employee cafeteria in the employee apartment block. I'm not gonna film people because I don't think they want me showing them eating, but I can tell you the food smells absolutely amazing, and you can just see how many people they're feeding every single day at lunch. Now, if you are one of Sunlu's bigger clients or local government who very much loves Sunlu for all the employment and jobs you're creating, you may get to come and have lunch or dinner here. This entire floor is for entertaining Sunlu's esteemed guests and also me. And it is absolutely crazy, the scale of this place. They have entertainment rooms, a movie theater, absolutely nuts. Have a look at some of these dining rooms. I mean, it is so cool. They have a whole floor. This entire floor, you guys, is just dedicated to entertaining the various important VIP guests that come to Sunlu. So that may be international customers, folks from Amazon, or of course, as I said, local city government officials. Just have a look. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And this place sits completely empty unless and until a VIP guest or me comes to visit. How cool is that? So we have now moved into the warehouse. As you can see, space is not an issue. And this is one of the bigger warehouses I've probably ever been in my life. They're storing all different kinds of things, but I think mostly here they're storing filament. And it just goes on and on and on and on. There is no shortage of space and there is no shortage of inventory. You can see here, we've got some green PLA, blue PLA, just bins and bins and bins. And then the bigger warehouse seems to be all the way over here. Have a look at this place. Wow. We're now in the second part of the first warehouse, and it is just absolutely massive. You can see filament as far as the eye can see. Absolutely nuts, but I've just been told by my contact here that this is a small part of the warehouse. There is actually an entire separate floor with even more, and then that doesn't take into consideration the fact that there is a huge amount of inventory at Amazon warehouses around the world. So this is a very, very small part of their inventory, but this is absolutely nuts. Just look how many boxes, how much filament there is. Have a look at all these bags of resin, just bags and bags and bags of resin, boxes. I mean, this is quite simply the most filament I've ever seen in my life in one place. All in all, Sunlu makes 1.8 million kilos of filament per month, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely mind-blowing. Guys, this is absolutely insane. I just found a whole other warehouse, which again, is the most filament I've ever seen in my life. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Look at this place. And there's another entire warehouse on the flow below us. This is absolutely crazy. You've never seen this much filament in your life. It's everywhere. Look how much filament there is. Pallets and pallets and pallets, and they're still making new filament every single day, all day. Here's another spool of filament. Crazy, just Crazy. You've never seen this much filament in your life. Hey, I hope all of you enjoyed this quick tour of what is quite probably the world's largest 3D printing filament manufacturing facility. As you may have noticed, we unfortunately were not able to show everything and every square meter of the factory because Sunlu does do a lot of contract manufacturing for other major industry players, and they need to keep that under wraps. But I do hope that this video not only gave you a look into the how, but also just the sheer scale. And just think, that's just one of Sunlu's facilities, and Sunlu itself is only one of the 4 or 5 major 3D printing filament manufacturers in China. So who knows, maybe one day I'll get to tour the others as well. Till then, make sure you're subscribed both to this channel and our main channel, because we have some additional awesome content coming out for all of you very soon. A huge thanks to Sunlu, not just for giving me such unprecedented access, but also for sponsoring this video to help cover my travel and production expenses. I will leave my referral link down to their website down below so you can show them some love, support the channel, and get some incredible prices on great 3D printer filament. That's all for this week, but I'll see all of you on the next layer.